My voice is audible. Let's confirm my voice is audible. My voice is audible. I'm audible. My voice is audible. I'm audible. So welcome to my another live stream. This is the first session of today's live stream, and the days is 191. So it's been over 6 months. I'm working on my project. So the project I'm building on, I feel like I'm learning more than I am doing because I refactor a lot. recently, look at here, Claude create entire this runtime execution file, and it created more than 100 plus files. So this is the runtime implementation runtime. So I already have these things, but I'm asking this execution code base. But Claude create this domain, this execution, so that it can test. If you look at now my code base, so it create because of the Claude. Now if you look at, I have test. So this is called integration test. Let's look at the test. This is a boundaries test. Huh? Now Now I have generated this entire execution code base. If you look at, I have also integration test, unit test. So if you didn't use this type of test, but imagine you are working on a very big project and your code base around responsibility. So particular this responsibility, I have to test, and then who depend on this execution, I have to integrate. So that's called integration test. We have contract boundary test, so that the dependency we can make sure they are actually correct. Then overall end-to-end test. So you might use definitely a Postman or maybe Thunder client to just test one server to another server. But this unit test, integration test is very important when you are working on a very big project and your team member assign a particular responsibility. So you just want to make sure first your responsibility, the way you want, the the expectation you want from your code base, you can make sure by applying unit tests. Once you based on your expectation your code works, then you can see, okay, my code base is fine. Now it can integrate with others. Then you have to apply uh, integration test. So if the integration test is works, which means the code you write and the code your team member write and the overall expectation the code wants or the architecture wants, it fits. So that's why in real very look at the top MNC company or big project, they distribute their code base, they assign their tasks into team member this way. So guys, I'm just showing you. So if you don't have any experience into any real world code base or very big project code base, so it helps you a lot. My ultimate goal to give you an insight of when you have a big project, how you can handle it, and this is a learning you cannot get from any YouTube tutorial, because if you search, nobody share their real code base. But I'm sharing, and this is a real startup. Right? I have more than 1400 plus files in this project. If you look at, I have more than 1400 files. So right now I'm just running. I'm just so run this. Let's say let's go to so there is a website called Vtest. I'm using Vtest. This is the platform. successfully test. You can look at, get started, and you can install like this. Okay, so yeah, this is the command npm run test. There is a import command registry. So we have runtime. Okay, command registry. Okay, so this is I think have to change like this to runtime collaboration execution command and like this. Now here you go. So let's see. In this we have 45 cases. We have 45 cases. So we have first. So every case is have the unit test again import issue runtime. Okay. Let's apply. Let's every test is passed. Look at one fail. Okay. Two fail. So when you are testing, okay. So recently I just so here I have one. Okay. Okay. Fail status. I know that's why because of the input path. So I have to fix the. Oh my god, that's the reason, right? So Claude each made a mistake, but if you look at, so I just asked to create one execution, and Claude create the entire my code base, and the way Claude um, organize code base, so they assume that input path, but my real code base is like this. I just asked to create this one, but Claude create entire domain execution and also inside um, this execution. So this is the, it's called infrastructure execution. So that's why if you look at Claude made a mistake. That's why my two tests has been failed. The reason why I know, yeah, but I just write. Yes, Claude create this entire graph runtime execution. Okay, but if you look at my prompt, if you look at my, so this is the code document I provide to Claude. Look at, so I have four type of document. If you look at how Claude is generate the entire code base. Okay, if you look at my document, we have architecture, then we have technical specification. So here I'm not let Claude to generate or guess or invent any architecture. So all the things I already defined. So okay, how look like my runtime execution. If you look at all the things I already defined, how my code will work. Alright. So just write code. But the decision, the boundaries, the dependency, the responsibility I define. So that's why I have every component four type of document. First one is architecture, so it's an overall architecture. Then we have technical specification, which means how my code will run. So this document answer what and where, and which means why, and this code answer how. So its answer how it design, and then developer guide, which means it can answer how we can implement the technical specification. Everything I just uh, written down very carefully, and all the folder structure, the file name, each and everything. So I have to just manually adjust. Okay, so if you look at, I'm just updating my input path because Claude made a mistake. way I said, he just write all my code base correctly, and the test is also passed, but the folder structure is not. So I'm just refactoring my code base. So I just write execution component. If you get, I also have a testing file, but now the input path is, so this code is, and it's perfect. Let's check out on this. So this is the feed test. So just I am fixing my right way of importing. Have mutation and sort of so So as I am just refactoring my code base, so now I have only import related issue. After fixing this import path, I will test. So if you look at, I already have a test file. So I will apply unit test, integration test. So I'm just fixing this import path issue. because I'm refactoring, so I have to make sure my code is aligned. The issue is because I organize my folder structure. That's why the input path is not. And if you wondering what I'm building, so basically I'm building AI tools so to automate a business operation and business workflow. So you can imagine it's a AI manager. So if you have any idea about boundaries test or integration test, so you know what does this two file means. So here I'm using a vtest, this is the tools, and I hope where is the issue then? Why is the issue that oh, okay. It shouldn't be there. Okay, this one shouldn't be there. Okay. Actually, it's not like that. Now here you go. There's one issue from here. Again, same thing. Yeah. So where the issue is? Okay. This is just now. This one also. Okay. I have everything. I have everything. Here also. Okay. Inside, I don't know. Yeah. So what else? Okay. Same thing. Okay. Now, so far I think there is no input issue. So let's run our test. Okay, so close all the things. Okay. So first let's what So I have 15 tests failed, and yeah, these are just, so I have to look at the bulk. So when, like, what does it means 15 failed? It means the responsibility I delegate to each component, and the test, the expectation, the use case I want, that doesn't fit with my test case. So if the test case is wrong, that means maybe your code is right, but you just handle different way your test case. You want a different scenario. So if it doesn't match, it doesn't mean your code is wrong. But if your test case is right and the the outcome you expect, that way you write your test, and then if it is fail, which means your code has issue. So I have 15 failed. So these files are just, so first execution. So I have, the file is graph graph execution. Okay. Execution, graph execution, graph execution integration. In this file create setup issue. So I think this is the integration test. So let's say just copy this message, and if you don't know how to debug or your test scenario, just as you guys use ChatGPT. So I'm just showing you how you can debug your test case. So based on my integration test cases, can you tell me what this message means and where is the issue? And I have to paste my entire code base, otherwise ChatGPT cannot guess. So the graph execution integration test, which means with this responsibility, so I have the entire execution. Now who depend on this execution? They are not aligned, which means I have some issue between contracts. So the key line is I cannot find package. Okay, runtime collaborative execution. Where are the issues? Let's see if there is any common registry. Let's go to this. I have sometimes, but if you look at, I have this file. Lies. So let's I just now run again. npm run this. No, 45. Now let's now it takes 3 seconds. What? Q. Now 2 fail. Okay, 4 fail, 5 fail, 6, 7. We are not getting any. Has two type of. Yes. I have 45 test files. So 30 are passed, 15 are not passed, and I have more than I have 20 225 cases, all are passed. So just only we have 15 failed, which means this 15 file fail. I have 15 failed file. It's not same file, right? Culprit. This is a different. This is a different. So there is a huge, and this is a failed. So let's copy all of them and okay. So, so like when you are generating or integrating code base, you have to make sure your component are integrated. If you look at, so Claude creates the entire graph runtime execution. To show you, I just ask create the way Claude organize runtime implement. So it assume I have this directory. That's the issue. Yes, I ask only uh, this one. The graph also create domain and runtime this one execution, because runtime execution. So I have three type of things: the share infrastructure, which provide a mechanism, and runtime provide uh, runtime semantics, and a feature provides domain meaning. So that is the case. Now I'm gonna ask. So I can figure out by myself if I spend some time, but I'm just asking how can I fix faster. So these are my 15 failed files. So can you tell me why is that? Where is the issue? graph factors. We have graph factory. Okay, the issue is graph factory. This is a graph factory. So this is my graph factory files. First of all, I don't have vtest config file. I do have tsconfig JSON and package JSON. So you can look at them and tell me. Let's check again. So the message showed is that this URL has been deprecated. So like then so VTest doesn't understand the way TypeScript and Next.js understand. So your solution, I just put it, but has been deprecated. The issue is obvious, just it cannot understand that alias. This file also uh, doesn't understand. This is my package JSON, and you can look at I have hitches at the bottom. Well, right now I add this one. So what do you think of it? Can you fix it if you find any issue so that it works my entire code base so it can understand the allies. Let's see. I got one warning. Let's see. Now after adding VTS config, I'm getting this warning. Can you tell me what it is? So now I feel like there is no failed cases. Yes. So the issue was like Heat cannot configure the allies. So if you look at, I have 45 files, a test case file, and 260 cases. So everything are passed, which means my integration is correct. So guys, there is a catch. Don't assume your code base is right. Why I'm saying it, because if you look at the test I create, so if you do not understand your architecture, which means you cannot integrate properly. So you have to understand what expected output you want. So basically, let me show you exactly what do I mean by that. So I have, as I said, a lot of edge cases. So you have two type of things: unit test, which means particular responsibility. So execution is a component. So execution have own responsibility, which means I have a shared execution infrastructure which provide mechanism, and this execution it has responsibility only for semantics, right? So within this file, if my unit test is passed, which means within this responsibility, my code is fine. But when, and you have to understand one thing, that the way you write cases, the way you write cases, so it's depend on your understanding of your code base. So you want, okay, this is the expectation result I want from my code base, and that's how you write this type of cases, right? And that works, which means the way you want a result, your test case, your code provide. It means, yeah, you will get always your test case pass. But if you change your expectation, and then let's say it doesn't match, it doesn't mean your code is wrong, because you change your expectation, right? So that's how you have to understand your whole architecture if you actually want a better good test case. So now the question is how you can define what would be the best cases. So if you look at, I have a bunch of documents. So there is a strategy called, okay, I have, what the hell, man? So I have a document like code testing mental model. So we have 5 type of things. First, as I said, unit test. When you are working with any big company, they provide responsibility, code base. They assign a task around a responsibility. So how do you make sure your code base is good? So yeah, mostly you use Postman or Thunder client to test one server to another server. You understand the whole communication. That's that's totally different. You have a unit test, which means unit of responsibility. You want to make sure my code base is working correctly. Then we have integration, which means one component to another component, the communication. You want to make sure they are aligned. Then we have contract, which means the boundary you set up for one component to another component, you have to make sure to contract. And then we have end-to-end testing. For end-to-end testing, we have like tools called Playwright. Right. So right now I'm just focusing these two things: unit test and integration test. Once you understand these things, then when you test your entire end-to-end platform, then you see, okay, the UI is correct, this responsibility correct. But in a bigger project, first you have to make sure each component are actually correct. That's my whole point, guys. Like actually sharing you the bigger project. So if you don't work into any MNC company, or you don't have any opportunity to work with a team, but from this code base, you can understand mental model, how they work. So in this code base, I have more than 1400 plus 5, more than more than 85,000 lines of code. So imagine how bigger it is. And my ultimate goal throughout the live session, by sharing my 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 intention, the insight I have last 6 months, and I understand when I face problem, I just go and deeper, and I understand. So recently, I'm just refactoring, and almost I have done with my collaborative runtime and then runtime. Now uh, I have to so now my next target is features. I have to refactor my features. So I refactor my capabilities, domain, and execution. Now it's time to feature. So if you look at Claude generate almost 108 files at once. Everything is correct. Why? If you look at the way I just provide the context, you will guys blow up definitely. And I follow a lot of things. So this is my runtime, graph runtime. This is a secret. Nobody share. I'm just sharing because I have faced problems. So I hope guys you don't have same issue. So from day one you can understand how you can actually, if you don't have agent, but still you can get that type of output without spending any money. If you look at, I'm not spending any money. So each component I have 4 type of document. So let's say, and this document also help you out a later one. Now let's say you are a single one, but if you want to onboarding someone, how they understand your code base. If you can tell, even then they don't can understand the bigger project. So this is the architecture, overall architecture of my graph domain. If you look at, so the architecture answer very simple things. What exists, what communicate, which means what and where. This is the document. You can understand it's very long and very intuitive. So this is the architecture. Second, technical specification. Now, once you understand the overall mental model, now you have to make it details, which means the exact contracts, the boundaries, the dependency, the public APIs, the public contracts, the public model, so that your developer, maybe your team member can understand. This way, the top company or a very big project is organized, so they know what to do. Otherwise, nobody can understand the bigger project. And then developer guide. So in the developer guide, so this document answer how your architecture is designed, the target architecture. So this document answer how, and then developer guide. So in the developer guide document, you have to just provide the code base, the mental model, and exact step, right? How actually your code. So this document answer how you implement that technical specification. It's very helpful, guys. Trust me, it's very helpful. The way I'm working beyond production ready mental model. So like you guys can see this how senior developer work. So I'm sharing those type of mental model. Not only AI, like not only you can use a better way AI, but also in real when you work with team member, they don't have to train you because you already train yourself. You are preparing for them. But my assumption is your ultimate goal to run your own company, which means you have to understand everything. That's my assumption. I have, so that's why I become a senior developer. If you understand the role of senior developer, their role is just simple: design end-to-end system. But let me show you the mental model so you guys can understand what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about now you can understand. So there is uh, I create based on my understanding. There is a mental model. Okay. So we have system design. So like let's say if you call yourself you are a junior developer or fresher, that means your role is just like this: implementation. Just you just implement a features. That's all, nothing else. Maybe if you are a midterm, you can design your implementation strategy. Why I'm saying it's help you when you just have a database, business rules, and UI. So you only work with the demo project or the YouTube share. So on the YouTube, people just only share how you can implement your features. But in real life code base, it's very big, complex, because a lot of things they are assembling. So that's why if you are a junior level, so you are just role like this: implementation or somehow implementation strategy. But if you look at, so we have a business problem. So that concern belong to who are a business expert, but that's very important. Then the system thinking and architectural thinking. So beyond writing any code, you have to think how to think. So these two things help you out. I have already a document around it. Okay. Then you actually design your system. Then software architecture, which means how you architecture. Then this is a concept like subsystem architecture, the runtime design, and but if you are a DevOps, if you hear about DevOps, so you role like this: development, operation, and evaluation. As I said, what software architecture is. So let me actually share again the other things. So if you look at the software architecture, this is look like software architecture. So this is the entire map. So you have, this is a software architecture. Now your architecture, your software. So we have a bunch of things. We have a structure. So now people talk about micro services. Guys, don't just assume. Okay, sorry. First, you have to understand your problem. So this is the structure. So in structure segment, we have pattern. If you hear about layered architecture, clean architecture, DD architecture, hexagonal, CQRS, right? So this is just pattern. And then you have, these are very important. We have like responsibility. So we have this called 13 architectural dimension, right? So we have this type of thing. That's called structure, right? So from structure, you define what type of you will build. Maybe there is a structure like monolith. So the pattern is like this: we have monolith, modular monolith, uh, micro services. So I feel like if you are stuck with a few users, you don't need microservices. You need a modular monolith. We have to follow modular monolith. So that's called pattern. So how you architecture your software, and then you have behavior. So behavior part, like you have life cycle, then you have state, you have execution, you have communication, data flow, workflow. If you don't understand these things, you won't be called a developer because you know how your code works. Then you have, then as I said, if you are DevOps, so you have to understand your quality. The the code you the code you write, how would you define they are good? So there is a concept called quality. So you have to understand the reliability, right? The correctness, the speed, right? Uh, So that's called quality. Then you have evaluation, which means you have to design your code like extensibility, which means you can add easily any code, any features. Then replaceability, which means let's say if you want to migrate with new technology or new framework or new language, you can easily. Then you have modularity. You have to module your code, otherwise you cannot do these things. Then you have the big project require maintainability, right? Then separation concern, plug and play design. As I said, you can easily attach any features. So that's called evaluation. And then this is just question. We have a bunch of question. Who owns it? Answer, responsibility. Then where does it belong? Answer, module or layer. Then where should the boundary be? Answer, boundaries. So these are just these things, but I'm just organized based on question. And then you have who should know about whom. That's called dependency. Then you have how should they communicate. That's called contract. Then you know who assembled everything. That's called composition. Then you have to understand when does it exist. That's the life cycle. Then you have who owns the data. That's called state. Then you have who performed the work. That's called execution. Then you have who coordinate the work. That's called workflow. And last one is can I replace it? That's called evaluation. And then will it survive production? That's called quality attribute. So these are very important, guys. If you don't understand, but if you write code, if you don't understand this type of terminology, that means you are just guessing. You are not a good developer at all. You cannot understand any code base. If you write code, but if you cannot understand my code, then you are not a developer at all. So yeah, but and when I'm saying it, this type of terminology you have to understand, not deeply, but as a mental model. In this AI era, I observe senior developer has more advantage. They are getting more advantage from AI than you guys. Why? So they know how to design their system end to end. So they create a prompt, they organize their things like me, as I said, guys, in one prompt. Look at in one prompt, Claude generate the entire code base without creating any bugs. The proof is like I passed 260 cases. If you look at 260 cases, this entire execution is written by Claude, and it's totally aligned with my other code base. I'm not using any agentic AI because agent can access all the things easily. Then it can create. But if you look at, I'm just asking a chatbot, but how chatbot understand my existing code base? Because of, as I said, guys, look at my organization, my mental model. So I have document. I have very huge document around my code base. So as I said, this is a graph runtime execution. So I have four type of document. This is just architecture document, technical specification, developer implementation guide, and reference manual. If I paste any AI, so they can understand the context of my code base. All right. So guys, I want you please follow this type of mentality. If you don't have money or any resource, you cannot buy AI. Use this mental model. Organize your code base, document your code base, and even you don't have to write all the things by yourself. You have to just work with a chatbot, and chatbot figure out. You have to just provide your intuition, which is what you want, how you want. That means you need understanding of what responsibility is, what contract is, what dependency is. So if you just tell me, hey man, this is the features I want it, just define. So yeah, they can write code document. Then it's become a source of truth. So let's say if you want team member onboarding, you have to tell, hey, this is my entire code base, mental model you have to follow. And if they don't care these things, if they just have this developer implementation guide, they can implement it, right? So guys, this is the mental model most of the big project they follow, right? So I want you just follow guys this type of mental model, and my ultimate goal is just sharing this type of insight throughout a live session. Because when I had issue, I searched on YouTube, nobody shared this type of code base. It's a very huge code base, huge. So this is a real production ready code base, and I'm sharing just for learning purpose. So you can, if you don't have chance to work with a bigger team, but how they separate the responsibility, how they assign responsibility, and how you write the code and how you test. All the things you need to know before entering any top MNC company. Even they train you, it's not a question. But my assumption is in this AI era, you are the only one running your company. So you have to understand a lot of things at once. And now, this is just question from developer perspective. But my ultimate goal, my assumption is even my platform around helping and creating an interface for developer and founder. So as a developer, we can solve a real problem, an actual problem, so that we can increase our lifestyle, our whole economy. So that's my startup is all about. I'm creating a software or tools which automate our entire business workflow and business operation. So right now, my product around automation. So you can think of it just a manager, a product manager. So, so as a single founders, if you want to run your entire company, so you have to pass through three stages. Let me give you a mental model that help you a lot. Business learning materials. Okay. So we have three type of stage. This is I call life cycle of software company, which means life cycle of creation company. So we have stage one, idea to plan. In this stage, you just researching about your product, right? You are just designing your idea, and as you are developer, as you know, people create a lot of workflow, business entities. So this is the first stage, and at this moment, my product around this stage one, my product around this stage one, and then we have, and this stage is fully AI now are automatic. So you don't have to manually create whiteboard in a doc, right? So AI can automate. You have to give a prompt, AI can research, AI create a mind map, flow chart, or business entities like that. This part is very right now people are focusing. Plan to product. Now once you have plan, now it's time to implement. So which means writing code. So my assumption is we are building a software. Okay, so that's the assumption. So now the cursor, anti-gravity, VS Code, and Cloud Code, Codex, so they are just implementing a real code. That's why the plan to product. And this part also the American company focusing to automate this part. And then we have product to business, which means once you have a real product and now you launch it, after launching it, you need you need a marketing, you need um, customer support, you need a finance, you need HR. This is another type of issue. And most of the revenue, most of the economic activity are going on in this stage 3. So this part, as I said, fully now it's become automation. This part, American company are focusing hugely. They spend a lot of money, and this part people are struggling. But a lot of company also focusing on this part, how they can automate entire ecosystem. So, as I said, my ultimate goal to create a ecosystem or interface. From one interface, you can generate idea, convert your idea into real product, and then you monitor your business or operate your business. So we have to create an agent. That's the ultimate goal, to create an agent. So agent can delegate your tasks based on your requirement. So guys, we know very well MCP. Now it's very famous. So a lot of company already provide their MCP server. So we can integrate very easily. So we have to create an MCP client and we have to consume MCP server. So right now I'm not talking about details, those things, but just understand my product direction. So if you guys are first time, if you don't know what I'm building, so I'm building basically a manager, AI manager, which can automate entire business workflow and business operation. But the current my product direction is around stage one. So yeah, so that's why I have tools. I call it. So now, if you understand that from that point of view, you can call it it's a project management tools. But I call it beyond it because if you understand this entire workflow, then it's no more project management tools. So I call it an interface for running an entire company. So I have to go one by one, and that's why, guys, I spend a bunch of time to understanding the entire ecosystem. How can I direct my code base? So you need a bunch of mental models. So that's why I document entire things, and I don't have time much more to explain you each and everything. If you guys interest, tell me what type of mental model you want, the workflow you want. I can separately create a video and upload it, not a live stream. If you like live stream, you can also comment. And but if you understand uh, beyond like I have to explain. If you guys understand the entire mental model, if you want to become actually beyond software developer, let's say you want to run a company and make money out of it. So you understand. Let me give you a workflow. It's very helpful. It can help you a lot. So we talk about a lot of value. We have value creation system. We talk about we have to solve a people problem. We have a pain avoidance paradigm. We also talk about uh, a value creation. So people talk about a lot of motivational speakers talk about we have to create a value like that. So we have also, so I create the entire workflow. If you look at, this is your role right now. So this mental model, you know very well. So yeah, because you are a software developer, so you know this thing. But if my assumption is you want to become beyond software developer, your ultimate goal to become founders. So what look like founders mean? Well, to become a founder, you have to understand a lot of things. But in this era, when I'm saying everybody become a founders, let let take you in a analogy. The analogy is very simple, guys. If you look at the creator economy, so the creator economy now we have more than 265 million creator. But before technology and we in past we had only few options to watch. That's the huge problem. Why? So we don't have our own preference. Whatever market, whatever we had, we have to just consume it. If you understand the reason why is that, so in past we had only few actors or few agencies who produce content. But if you go further, why is that? Then you understand there is a barrier. The barrier to enter the industry, the barrier to buy the equipment. This is the barrier. That's why nobody enter that creator, right? But after like YouTube and Instagram, Facebook, they create an interface, which means now you have to just record yourself and upload them. That's why, as a result, if you look at, people become, so like the society has more creator than before, and as a result, economic has this activity. As an end consumer, we are consuming huge content. So why? If I understand, just it create uh, it create an abundance of consumption, which means now we are just personal. Yeah, so we are consuming based on our preference. So technology feed what you want, right? So then, if you understand the main things, people care, avoid their pain. That's all. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they consume. It's matter at the point what they have pain, they just avoid their pain. That's I call pain avoidance paradigm. This paradigm is it's universal. I research a lot, guys, and I just come up with this concept because there is a sentence I I explain and that define the entire human being, the human brain. So human beings are pleasure-seeking machine, no matter so pain avoidance in our DNA. No matter how disciplined or moral you are, or people pretend to be, at the end of the day, we chase pleasure, we crave dopamine in different format. When you say different format, you have to understand. Somebody like alcohol, somebody like watching movie, playing cricket, uh, clubbing, party. So these are just format. But from brain perspective, everybody are same. Is that brain wants give me a relief from how I feel inside. So now you understand we have to avoid people pain. That's why I create a pain avoidance paradigm. We have three type of things. If you understand these three things, you can dominate this entire world. So that first one is psychology. So psychology says in a very simple term in my paradigm I call psychology says human behavior, and then economics just monetize human behavior. What I'm saying, just give me a second, and then technology just scale that behavior. So you have to understand what value is. So okay, before diving into value creation, first understand this three terminology because you are a developer, so you know technology, but how technology is so fast. So now, at this moment, the generation we are living, we have creator economy. In the creator economy, people are monetize their behavior, which means somebody showing their through dance, somebody showing the workflow, their brain. So like we just monetize in a short term our behavior. That's called behavior. And as we are living a technology era, so we can scale our behavior throughout the world. That's technology play a role. And psychology, as I said, psychology like to avoid pain. Humans want to avoid pain. So now, to understand what pain is, as I explained, we are seeking a pleasure because of brain wants a relief. So I'm not gonna go dive into psychology, but so I'm just focusing on the entire workflow. So we have to understand the value because economics create and capture value. This is the right terminology because a lot of motivational speaker they talk about and business guy talk about you have to create a value. If you want to create a software, which means you have to create a value. So let's first understand the value because first our component is psychology, which is understanding people. Second is create value. Third is skill value. So then you need technology. So it doesn't mean like you are a developer, which means you can create a technology. No, 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 no. That's not the case. The case is you are creating a technology because you are just scaling a value. That's you need technology. Otherwise, if you don't understand what value you are providing with your technology to the society, you're just wasting your time, right? That's the, that's the things you have to understand first. Create value, then scale value. Scale value, we need technology, right? So I hope you understand. But here, there is one thing you have to understand. So psychology interlink with technology, economics interlink with technology, which means technology can influence psychology. That's why you are addicted to YouTube, Instagram, because technology influences psychology, and technology also influences economics. How? If you look at American economy, they have their service, which means technological. They have $14 trillion economy. So technology influences economics a lot. So these are interlinked, right? And even you can say psychology also influence economics. That's for sure. So let's understand what value is. So we have, this is just a cycle. So this is, I call it a value creation system. So it's very helpful. Why? So we everything start from a human. So just I'm assuming everything starts from human. So I put a sign that is human problem, right? So the human problem, then you create a value creation, and then you just deliver value. So here I'm understanding the value creation system. So then you deliver value, then now human consume that value, and then again new problem, which means once they have more money, their preference changes, right? Which means new problem arise. So this is a cycle. So now in this value creation system, we have two participants. One is I call perspective. We have two type of things to understand this value system. Sorry, to understand a value creation system, we have two perspective. One, two things. One is perspective. It answer how the system is viewed, which means how you see the system. And now participant. It answer who acts within the system. So let's understand first participant. Now guys, now there is a concept I talk about. A builder, that means your role. A founder, you have to become a founder. And then consumer. Consumer experience a problem. Founder create value, and builder or engineer scale value. So this is the another cycle. So consumer experience problem, that's for sure. Founder create value, and software engineer or developer scale value. Again, consumer receive better solution. Right. So again, if you look at this circle, now human have new problem, which means they have new, they face new experience. They has a new problem, right? This is a circle, and this circle driven from here. So that's why we have, this is a value creation cycle. So I call it a participant. These are three people participate in this workflow or in this system. The second is perspective. Second is perspective. So this is the perspective I call. One system, three different lanes. So first is a consumer perspective. So let's say you are a consumer, so you don't care, man, the technology, the economics, the government, you care a better solution. That's why what I'm saying is, in the world, we are living a very competitive world, right? You have to understand why this matters. So always consumer wants a better solution, right? And there is a question: which solution solve my problem? This is a question always consumer think. If your solution solve my problem, I will buy your product. If your YouTube channel solve my pain, I will watch your video. So that's the perspective. And this is the primary pillar is psychology, right? It's just psychological things. And then we have founder perspective, which means create value. The question is, how can this become a business? Now you become a founder. Now your question is, how can I turn this problem into business? So the primary pillar is economics. I feel like I just well, I think I just made a mistake, guys. Recently, I just changed, but okay, this should be developer. Okay, so I just changed the thing. This should be a developer. So the developer just understand the technology, and the primary pillar would be technology. And the question is how we can deliver that solution. That would be the perspective from a developer. So now to understand this founder perspective and developer perspective, we have another thing. Let's understand company creation. So now you have to create a company because now in this world you guys living and we are organized everything. So you need a founder perspective, right? So how founders transform opportunities into successful companies. So now you search opportunity. As I said, guys, we have three stages. So we have idea to plan, then plan to product, and then product to business. This is the opportunity cycle. This is the company creation life cycle. So in the stage one, we have the first stage. The question is, what should we build and why? If you don't know these two things, you cannot understand. The objective is transform an opportunity into a clear execution plan. That's the objective of this idea, this field. So the activities involved like research, brainstorming, product strategy, product design, system architecture, planning, system making, and requirement. So you figure out by with this stage one. Then the second stage, plan to product. The question is how do you build it? Once you have the entire plan, now you are asking how do you build it. The objective here is transform the execution plan into a working product. So the activities is software engineering, implementation, testing, infrastructure deployment, quality assurance, and release management. And stage three, product to business. The primary question always is how do you grow and operate it? The objective is transform a product into a sustainable business. Activities, marketing, sales, customer success, business operation, finance, growth, automation, like that. So now software engineering is coming to play a role. Then we have software engineering and all these things. So we figure out the business problem, system thinking, architectural thinking, all this stuff. And to understand details things, I have already the entire document and mental model. Just to understand, guys, we start from pain. So first we start first we start from the engineering problem. Then we go back to the root problem, which is pain. To understand pain, to understand better way of pain, we understand value creation system. To understand value creation system, we have to look at from one perspective, and we have to understand who involved around it. To understand the perspective, we have a different of perspective. So from founder perspective, we understand the company creation life cycle. So to understand the second phase, we have to understand the software engineering. Now, to understand software engineering, you understand what type of role we have, what type of things we have to understand. So this is the entire mental model, guys. And I know I'm delivering a very huge insight but I don't have much more views. But I don't care. I only care if you guys want people listen to me and actually understand the mental model. So I feel proud because my ultimate goal from life is that by working together we can solve a real problem. We can make our system faster, better, and yeah. So can I know who is watching, guys? Can you tell me where you're from so I can understand? Like, because I don't know who you are, but one guy watching me since I start. So can you, hey, can you tell me where you're from and what you're doing? I observe maybe you are